This is Henrik Beshman. I'm a software developer in Toronto, Canada. My website is internetcommons.ca, and this is the ninth and last screencast in the series What is Drupal, in which I put forward the proposition that Drupal can best be understood by thinking of it in terms of these 5 key properties. It's a resource manager, a configuration manager, a content manager, a state change machine, and a rapid application tool. That's quite a package, and so my conclusion is that Drupal is indeed the best of breed. When it comes to certainly open source software, as far as website development goes, I think the most common references are to WordPress, Joomla, and Drupal. WordPress is the simplest to install, and it's also probably consequently the most popular. Certainly recommended for a straightforward website. Joomla is intermediate in terms of complexity. It's not, by reputation, it's not quite as robust internally, but certainly has a long and venerable history. And Drupal is out there as being the most flexible, not just content management system, but content management framework for the reasons that that we've tried to specify. By reputation, Drupal is actually superior to many, if not most, if not all, of the, in many ways, commercial website software offerings that are out there, probably except for more specialized commercial offerings that might be more suited, more clearly suited, and require less effort and maintenance for very specialized tasks. But in any case, having looked around and having looked at the internals, certainly my personal conclusion is that it's the best of breed. One does have to be cautious. The reputation that Drupal has is that it takes 6 to 12 months to get through the learning curve, and that's certainly true. Probably never ends. The richness and variety of modules that are available, over 7,000 for Drupal 7, for example, also indicates that experience helps. The biggest caution would relate to requirement for custom features, getting into coding, because that is can be problematic. Give yourself lots of time to work out the details and be prepared for internal inconsistencies and side effects. Probably the most important conclusion that I reach is that for anything but the smallest sites, Drupal needs to be given respect, and the best way to do that is to organize a team of specialists who have in-depth knowledge about the various aspects of the technology, and also to use proven management techniques like Agile, Scrum, or Microsoft Solutions Framework. They're all similar. And of course, the last bit of advice is to contribute back to the community. That is what keeps the community going, and it is a very dynamic community. In the future, personally, I think there's a room for Drupal Lite now. We're coming up to version 8, and as with any mature products, they get bigger and have a lot of baggage. Drupal has a lot of very of outstanding general design ideas, such as entities, entity fields, which are the field tables, the emphasis on configuration, and many other things. But they're, in a certain sense, you could think of it as containing a certain amount of bloat. The internal data structures are certainly far more complex than they have to be, and the hooks are far more extensive and far too inconsistent. So there might be room for a Drupal Lite, although I'm not personally aware of an effort to do that. In any case, Drupal 8 is looking promising in terms of addressing some of these issues. They're moving more towards an object-oriented approach to things, which is a much more conventional and familiar and proven approach than the procedure-based hook system or name mangling system that's been developed in the past. A number of deep core elements are being integrated from the Symfony framework, and they're very clean and mature. It is being organized to be able to load in a light fashion, to behave as kind of a service module for more front-end JavaScript type applications and other things like that. So Drupal 8 is certainly moving in the right direction, and it looks promising. So I think on the whole, things are looking bright for the future. In terms of key roles that make sense for a Drupal application, these are standard really for any project. Project manager, owner, sponsor, architect, whose main responsibility would be to not just architect the overall application, but to make selections in terms of what modules to integrate into the application. A designer would take those items and make sure that they can be transformed into the specifications and requirements for the software. This software developer is a key position. It should be someone who has the capacity to keep things very tidy and as simple as possible in terms of the code. Themer, as always, is an important position in terms of the appearance of applications, and in this case also to understand the mechanics of theming in Drupal, which does involve some work with resource files, certainly CSS files, template files, and an understanding of how template files are called. Systems integrator is helpful for installing and integrating the software, but also quite often Drupal applications are integrated with third-party software such as payment services and things like that. And of course, last but not least, the user needs to be involved all along the way to make sure that the application that's being developed is in fact the application that's required. So go for it. It's a great product, and by all means provide me with any feedback on this series. You can reach me at Henrik, Henrik, at internetcommons.ca, or leave a comment on YouTube. And again, this is Henrik Bashman at internetcommons.ca.